So we are at the cupping APAC meeting on September 7th, 2022. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is basically walk Sanskar through cupping and get him started with contributing to cupping. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So basically what we're trying to do, as you must have gathered, is try to add backends uh, to the cupping brain, right? Wherein we are trying to decouple the architecture of Kube-Proxy. So these are a bunch of backends that we have in place. Now, user space is moving away from KK code base. There's a PR in flight to remove the code for user space. One of the issues that you could contribute to is see how we can add um, user space to the CI. So what I'm trying to tell you is so we do have most of the backends wired in to the CI, wherein we are running Kubernetes performance tests. But user space is not one of them as of now. This user space is this port of user space is heavily dependent on the one in Kube-Proxy, and we've tried to make it work with cupping. So there are a bunch of things that are remaining, things like adding CI. I don't know if we should have a release or things like that, but and then there are things like rewriting the implementation using a different approach that's mentioned in cupping. A quick win over here would be adding CI and then looking at diff store implementation to see how it works. There are a couple of tests which are going to fail. I had tried to run this locally a while ago. There are a couple of tests which are failing. That's okay, but we can at least plug it into the CI and see get the results in, right? So we are at a stage in cupping as of now wherein we are our main goal is to merge get working on the cap and see towards that the cap is merged. You would see the cap somewhere over here. I can't find. Yeah, it's over here. Right. So we are working on this, but apart from this, we are trying to see if we can harden all the backends that we have. Right. So does it make sense to you? The whole
so
goal of this.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
No, I was just wrapping up and saying that the whole goal of this APAC working group is to make sure that we harden the CI, add more unit tests, make sure that the E2E tests are passing for all the backends, and also get the cap moving. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I gathered. So basically, like the only way to harden is it to add more tests, like to make sure that everything is working as expected.
First step is to make sure that all the conformance tests pass, right? That's like the basic first steps where we are at. For most of the backends, I haven't taken a look at IP tables, IPVs, but most of the tests have been passing and people are working on making sure that the test pass and fixing the issues. So a quick win, if you want to go through the code base of cupping, would be going through this. user space, trying to make user space run. Uh, and you can then maybe probably add a README over here, and I can pair with you on this. Add a README on how to run cupping in user space mode. Um, then basically finding your way through this sync.go, because this basically acts as the main program to get into the
Yeah.
code base of cupping. Through this, you can see how things are working. I think as of now, this only works for IPv4, so all the IPv6 tests will fail. Um, so maybe you can try adding IPv6 as well over here. There are like a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions about user space. First is, isn't user space being deprecated? Like,
It is
so then why is cupping supporting it if it's being deprecated?
the one of the main things that one of the main reasons why we added a user space backend to cupping is because we were trying to add all the backends which are there in Kube-Proxy to cupping. We were trying to
Right.
port all the backends. User space was one of them, and user space is being deprecated. It's being, as I mentioned, it's being removed from the KK repository. So we are treating this as a playground backend, so we can experiment with and see how we can play around with cupping, try to see if there are any more optimizations that we can add. So as I mentioned over here, right? Where is it? One of the things over here is to rewrite it using diff store implementation. So this diff store implementation is very specific to cupping, right? Wherein you get the entire state of the Kubernetes networking model at the backend, and then the backend uses a B tree sort of a thing to get a diff of what's updated. We can try to see if we can use this in the user space mode. So the whole idea of user space is to try out things, for new contributors who want to
Got it.
try contribute to cupping, try to experiment. That's like the way in. And then you can look at IP tables, IPv6, EBVs, it goes on and on.
Okay. So basically add a CI job for it, and then once that's done, try to experiment more with the user space and see what all optimizations we can make there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Got
You
it.
may have to play around with all of these GitHub Actions files, and on your way through, you can probably add a couple of readmes to user space on whatever you've been experimenting on, whatever you've been learning. I can pair with you on that if you need any help. We hang out
Yeah.
on Big Network KPNG channel on Slack, so feel free to
Yeah.
ping us anytime. And once and maybe your next goal would be to experiment with the other backends, then all of these issues would make much more sense to you. And then you can pick up any of the other issues and then start working on that, or help us with the KEP.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I was seeing where all can I contribute to cupping, and like, yeah, this is a good start. And then I'm hopefully ultimately this will allow me to like contribute to like the actual logic as well, like the actual backends.
These are user space, for that matter, is an actual backend. Through user space,
Yeah, I
if
mean the
you
other backends.
one thing that I would like to point out over here is, if I recollect correctly, IP tables and user space share a similar mechanism. The way they're
Yeah.
trying to use cupping, the way they're trying to create IP tables rules. So if we are able to get diff store implementation in user space, we can try to port over to IP tables as well. So we've got Hanumant and Vivek who help us with IP tables and IPVS backends. They also hang out on the Slack channel. So they sort of own IP tables and IPVS realms. So you can discuss diff store with them as well at some point.
Got it. Got it. Okay. That sounds great. I will look into this as soon as possible, like probably today or tomorrow. and adding a CI Docker. Thanks a lot for bringing me up to speed.
Awesome. Thanks for joining, man. I don't see anyone else joining this meeting, but if you have any other questions, comments, discussion points, then feel free to go ahead.
No, it's okay. If I have any questions, as you said, I just ping on the Slack channel.
Cool. And if it works out, maybe we can pair on this next week as well. You know, if you're okay
Sure.
if you're up for it.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, thanks a lot, Rajesh. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining. See you. Bye.